Allina Health is proud to support your Loons as the official healthcare provider of Minnesota United. Every day, we provide expert care to keep the team in top form on match day. All across Minnesota and western Wisconsin, you can find the same dedicated providers just a short drive away. It's expert care when and how you need it. Schedule your visit at allinahealth.org today. Allina Health, all together better. Welcome back to another episode of the Sound of Loons podcast, brought to you by Allina Health. I am your host, Zarek, and this is actually the second one we've recorded. The first one got lost, but this will be the first official one. And we are here with brand new signing and my new friend, Peter Stroud. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to it.
Yeah. All right, great. So we acquired you via Red Bulls, but is that where you're from? So give the fans a little bit of a history, where you grew up, where you were born, just kind of how you started playing the game.
Yeah, so I grew up in Jersey, so I was born there, born and raised in Morristown, New Jersey. Actually, I was born in Morristown Hospital, but then moved to Chester. That's where my family's from, pretty close to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's kind of out there, to be honest. Not really close to New York City. I think like probably without traffic, hour. But if you want to go during a weekday, you're looking at probably 2 hours, so pretty far out there. That's where I spent my whole life pretty much till I was 16, I think. So yeah, I grew up in the Rebel Academy, spent a lot of years there, grew up there, and then at 16, I went over to England and played in England for 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Because my dad's actually from England, so he was born and raised in England. Then he came out to America when he was 18 for college. To play college soccer, and then he just loved America so much.
Yeah.
He ended up staying here.
What club in England?
I was at West Ham for just 2 years.
Yeah. Oh, nice. How'd you like that?
It was good. I mean, I always tell people it was a cool experience. I mean, I got to see like the highest level at a young age. I think on a personal standpoint, obviously you're living on your own at a young age, which helps you grow. And yeah, it was a good time. I think spent some good years there, made some good friends, and played some good soccer, and yeah, it was a good time.
That's awesome. Did you were they in their new stadium at this point?
Yeah, they were in London Stadium.
That's awesome.
That's probably the coolest part is I got to see like so many Prem games.
Yeah,
they're so sick to be at live.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you were there were you there in the academy then for a few years?
Yeah, I was there for 2 years. Yeah, when I was probably from 16 to 18, I think.
Okay, and then you came back and went to Duke.
Yes, I went to school.
So what was the decision like, necessarily choosing college?
Yeah.
Did you have an opportunity to choose elsewhere, or was it just strictly?
I could have signed a pro at West Ham when I was 15. But for me, I had 3 older brothers, so I kind of just always wanted to do what those guys did. And growing up, I saw them all go to college and have, such good experiences at college. And it was kind of always, with my 3 older brothers, it was kind of, we always just followed what the other brother did. So I saw, like I said, they all went to college and they gained a lot, as far as, people, experiences and stuff. So even though, I went there to West Ham, it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to go to school. That's why I did visits in my off time, because in the back of my mind, that was something that I had to do and wanted to do.
Did your brothers all go to Duke?
No, my 3 older brothers, one of them went to school, a small D3 school. They all played. He played at a small D3 school called Washington and Lee, and then the 2 others went to Colgate.
Nice.
One of them still playing. So
nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Jared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh Wolf knows him because he spent some time in Austin. Is he still there?
No, he's bounced around. He's done a couple teams now. He went
DC. I want to say
he went from Rebel. He had a year at Rebel, the COVID year, and he'd done 2 years on the second team. So he did 2 years in the second team, 1 year at Red Bull. Then he got traded to Austin in the expansion draft.
Been there.
Crazy. It was crazy. I remember it was like kind of just out of nowhere. We were watching. We had like some sort of idea he could have gotten picked, but it wasn't like 100% sure. And then we saw his name pop up, and we're like, oh, okay, looks like you're going there.
Was that the exact reason? Because my story's nuts too. Was it? So yours was like that?
That's for Jared.
Yeah.
100%. We were all just sitting there, like he had kind of had a couple calls with them. They're like, oh, listen, like maybe we'll take you. And then we were sitting there watching, and then his name came up, and we're like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's going to Austin.
Holy shnikes. Yeah, this was back in 2019. I was unprotected. I actually had gotten picked in 2 expansion drafts. So I wanted San Diego to pick me before I retired just so that I could be the only person in MLS. Yeah. I was basically MLS. I was like the best side piece. Like I was good enough to have on the team to really want, but not good enough to protect. So we like kind of like.
How did they do those conversations? Did they just be like,
Yeah, they just said, hey, we're not protecting you. I was only protected once, I think, in my career.
So where did you get picked up?
Yeah, so I was picked up by Montreal. I chose to leave because Jesse called me and was like, hey, we only want people to come here that want to be a part of here. So if you don't, no problem. But if you do, we're all in, we'll get you. I was like, yeah, I think it'd be fun. So I called one of my buddies who was Canadian and got some advice from him and talked to my agent. And I was like, yeah, sure. That'd be cool. And it was an awesome experience being part of that.
What year was that?
2012. I was a dinosaur.
That's in Montreal.
Yeah.
That was their first year.
Yeah. So, and then the second one in 2019, I got a call from my agent. No, from the head coach. And he's like, hey, we're going to leave you unprotected, but we're going to work with your agent to keep you on the team. And that is when my red flags immediately started going. I was like, ruh-roh. I was like, I don't know how that sounds. And then we got wind that I was gonna be a part of a pick and trade. And I was like, all right, my agent's like, well, what's the other team? We couldn't figure out the other team. And I didn't know until, again, right when I was announced. And at one point I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll just stay in Nashville. Like, that's cool. No problem.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cool city.
Oh, so you didn't even show up?
No. So I got picked by Nashville. Derek Henry announced it. We can get that clip. Derek Henry's like, yeah, with the second pick, we're going to pick Zarek Valentine. I was like, oh, it's so cool. This is awesome. And then the GM's like, yeah, well, sometimes you just pick people as asset value pieces. I think we'll be moving this one on. And I was like, oh, man. And then they announced a trade to Houston. The GM calls me and stuff. But yeah, just like that. I didn't know 100% until once I got the phone call.
Do you count? You don't count as a Nashville player, right?
My transfer market does.
So you're in Nashville for 1 day.
Yeah, not even. I think it was like 4 hours. Beautiful city.
At least Derek Henry knows.
Yeah, that's my claim to fame. It's awesome. But yeah, trust me, I've been there. So backwards, let's get back to you. How'd you choose Duke? Because I know obviously soccer program and stuff, but I'd be curious, how'd you pick Duke?
So funny. Yeah, like I always tell people, like, I guess with the European calendar, like which fans are going to see, you only have, like, we had a short time off at West Ham. Like the season ended maybe mid-May, and then I had to be back for preseason July 1st.
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, like I have to narrow it down basically to like a couple schools to visit. And because I only had like a month and a half. And the Duke guy, basically, like Chris Rich at the time, he's not there anymore. He basically like booked my ticket for me and like didn't ask me. So I was like, well, okay, like I guess I'm going to Duke, I didn't I didn't look at the soccer programs or anything.
Really? You had no clue?
I didn't know how bad they were. They were horrible. And I went on the visit. And we went on like in the May. The weather was perfect. It looks like Hogwarts. And I was like, all right, like this is it. I don't need to go on any visits. Signed right there.
Really?
I was like, I'm done. Looking back on it, like probably should have thought a little more about what I did. But I mean, it was still the best time ever. Had so much fun.
If you're looking to hone your skills on the pitch, Minnesota United has your back. Our youth clinics and development camps range from goalkeeper training to academy tryout preparation to good old-fashioned summer soccer camps. We've got something for athletes of all ages and skill levels. Check out our camp offerings at MNUFC.com. Yeah, to be fair, in college, good players get seen, right? Like, and you're in a good conference, so you're always gonna go there and have a chance to be seen, even if it wasn't necessarily, the mighty Akron Zips or something like that. But
so many people are from Akron.
Yeah,
Will
was at Akron. Cam, Akron. Nagby. I can keep going. There's a bunch of guys.
Nagby.
Bunbury, Darren Maddox. We got a few. Steve Zakawani, who
The whole MLS team. If you guys put it an MLS team, you're pretty good.
would be pretty good. My last year when we won it.
You won it? So you won
Yeah, I played 2 years in college. We lost in a final my first year in penalty kicks. We won it the next year, and then I went GA. My year we won it. We lost 7 guys, 7 starters left, and 5 of the first 7 picks were our team.
So you guys were just
we're stacked. We're stacked.
Yeah, because it's hard to make a final twice in a row.
Yeah, we were stacked. I mean, the first year we didn't lose the whole season. We made it. We were 23-0, and then we beat UNC in the semifinals. So we 23-0-1, and then we lost on penalty kicks to Virginia. Yeah, we were the better team. You can ask him.
Who was on the UVA team? Anyone?
Will Bates, Tony Chani, really good player.
These names.
Yeah, then they had a goalie. The goalie played in the league
Bruce
for a bit.
the coach? No.
That was. I'm not that old. Gee, Bruce was the coach in 1985. Oh my goodness. Yeah, seriously, he was a lacrosse coach. But yeah, so we went to Duke. We enjoyed it. We loved it. Yeah. How many years were you there? 2 years. 2. And then so Red Bull still had your rights.
Red Bull always had my rights.
Yeah. So then how was it? What was it? Take us through the process of being at Duke and then leaving and signing. What was that? What was that like?
Yeah, I think after my sophomore year, I think I was pretty close to signing. But I think if I left at that point, I was never going to be able to finish my degree. Mm-hmm. It would have been too much school. So I stayed 1 more year, a couple more months, got some things fixed. Then I came back, played that season, and then I left. And I basically was just like, all right. I basically just, with Rebel, I was like, can I just stay a little bit longer? So I stayed, and they had my rights, I guess. And it was kind of always clear that I was going to end up there at some point. It was just a matter of.
Did they ever talk about maybe trading your rights or not? Or was it, no, you're one of our guys?
There was, I think the year that I left was St. Louis's expansion year.
23.
Yeah, 23. And at that time, I was, they were, kind of saying we could trade the first pick and stuff. But I think Rebels was just like, no, we're keeping him.
You were almost traded for a first pick in a draft.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
I know. And
I was a number 4 pick, and I thought I would be pretty good.
I wish, just to say I was the number 1 pick.
Oh, you get the draft card. Number 1 draft pick? Yeah, you kidding me? It's cool.
That would have been so cool. But no, they didn't let me get drafted, which was tough. But it was good. I was always happy to go back to Red Bull and stuff.
So then you obviously played 2 years at Red Bull. How was that? What was it like playing for the club that you grew up playing for in your home state? Yeah. Family, I probably, is at every single game. What's that like?
Yeah, it was honestly a good 3 years. I can't complain at all, to be honest. I mean, I think it's like so cool being able to always have someone at the game that whether it's your family.
Big man on campus.
Exactly. Yeah, you realize you had more friends than you thought at the time to deal and stuff. But it was so cool. I mean, we had some pretty good moments. I was only there for 3 years, but we had some pretty good moments as team.
Made it to the final.
Team. Yeah, we made it to the final in 24, which is cool. And then in 23, we had we struggled. We limped through the whole season, still kind of like in the playoff battle. Yep. And then we scored a penalty in the 95th minute to make playoffs away in Nashville, which was also pretty cool. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was a good 3 years. It's so cool, like underrated having always family close by.
Of course.
You take it for granted sometimes, maybe when they're not around. But yeah, it was always a blast. We had a good time.
How was the year in the final?
How was the year?
How was just to take us through that ride, because that was, I know realistically it was you upset Columbus in the best of 3.
In the best of 3, which like the craziest thing about that is I remember we limped into playoffs. Like the last maybe 4 or 5 games. I always tell people, if you would have told me that our best player Forsberg would have had a shot from, I think it was 12 yards out in the maybe 90th minute to tie the MLS Cup final, I would have laughed in your face. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Like, because we had some really bad games going into playoffs. It was kind of like, all right, here we go. Because Columbus always killed us. We always lost to Columbus. So it was like, here we go again, one of those, fails in playoff again. And then we beat them. We beat them in the first 2 games, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then I guess if you win in the first 2 games of the best of 3, you have a 3-week break because there's the international break.
It's ridiculous.
So we're all
it's
just
ridiculous.
sitting around, just waiting. And then, we had it was a good run. It was crazy.
Did you start the final?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How was that? Because I've had the fortunate pleasure of starting a final.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate part of that was we lost to Julian. We lost to Julian's team in 2018. Yeah, take us through the emotion as a 22-year-old starting an MLS Cup final.
Yeah.
What's that like? I mean, and
that was crazy. That had been like an absolute whirlwind of a season, to be honest.
Of course.
I think the season started out, first 8 games, we were like top of the East. I was playing well. Then I broke my leg, so I had a pretty bad injury. Missed 5 months.
Yep.
Came back, was playing okay, playing pretty well, and then the playoffs rolled around, and it was like, all right, like, we're in the most important part of the games, the biggest stretch here. So it was a crazy season, just like up, down, and the final was like just the craziest thing ever. I mean, obviously, in the moment, I think looking back, like, of course you're upset about the game because I think, it was I think the first 15 minutes were pretty tough. I think we could have been down maybe, 3 or 4 goals, to be honest. But it was crazy. I've never seen an atmosphere like that ever in my life. Like, just from the start, like the stadium was sold out. Like,
they scored in the first few minutes, didn't they?
They scored 2 goals in the first few minutes. Yeah, it was like
Painsel did.
Yeah, Painsel scored. I think Painsel and Jovovic. And the atmosphere was crazy. Like, usually when you walk the field like before the game, especially like MLS regular season game, how it is. There's no one in the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, we went there and it was like a full stadium.
Yeah.
And then also we had so many traveling fans, which was probably the coolest part of the whole like upper deck of was it StubHub? No.
Dignity Health.
Dignity Health.
Used to be
was
StubHub.
red. Was wearing Rebels. So we had a bunch of away fans there. So it was kind of cool. And I don't know how you feel, but like after you make the final once and it doesn't go your way, it's kind of like you're always just chasing the feeling to get back.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, we played in 2018. We played Atlanta.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta. There's 78,000 people there. It was the loudest place I'd ever been with the train horns and stuff, but we know Almiron and Martinez and that team was flying. It's one of those things where I remember it was funny because I had been with family all day in the hotel, and I finally got like 2 seconds to myself after the team meal. I kind of sat down with my buddies, and they're like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I am nervous." Yeah. I was sitting there, and I was like, "I am like, I am so nervous for this." And I remember I talked to my brother leading up to that, and he's like, "I want you to get the ball, and your first ball, you hit it as far as you can in the channel." He goes, I don't want you passing back to the goalie, going anywhere. He goes, you receive it and off the damn kickoff.
Into the corner.
Just dump it in the corner.
What time did you guys play that game?
Late. It was late.
It was a late game, so you had time to kind of just sit.
Yeah, it's the worst. It was the worst because I sat with my parents, with family and stuff the whole day, but I tried to just like get my mind off of it. But I couldn't not think about it. And you waited the whole day and it was raining. And then again, to finally get through with it, and they scored off a deflection in the first half. And then Jeremy tried to, however the goals happened. But yeah, I remember just thinking this is a different beast of nerves and stuff like that. Yeah.
But did you feel the atmosphere when you played was way different than any game?
Substantially. Right? Well, the thing is, first off, I would say there was a tenseness about decisions, especially you. I don't know, what position were you playing for Red Bulls?
Center mid, yeah.
For me, it was, making sure that I was 100% committed to everything I was doing because of the fact that if I'm playing a ball into the midfield, you can't turn it over. You can't do that. And also, we couldn't communicate. Yeah. I don't know how loud it was.
That's for me was the biggest difference was when you're getting peppered. Sometimes you can slow the game down and talk. You can't talk to someone who's like 5 feet from you, So
it was that loud for you guys too?
Yeah.
I had to use hand signals. So when the right mid in front of me, Andy Polo, I speak Spanish, but he couldn't hear me. So he would have to keep checking his shoulder, and I would tell him right or left because I couldn't talk to him. Which again, it's such an incredible experience.
Yeah.
But I could not speak to my center back.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak to my winger. I couldn't speak to anyone. So you literally are just relying on your relationships.
There's so much going around, but it's literally just you because no one can help you through the game.
No.
For me, like that was the craziest thing because we played away the whole time.
Yeah.
And the Derby game, the atmosphere was great, whatever. And then we played Orlando in the Eastern Conference Final, and the atmosphere was good. But the difference between like even the Eastern Conference Final and the final was the MLS Cup Final was like
it's a different sport.
It was like next level.
Yeah.
No, the games are so much faster too.
It's faster, and like you can kind of, get into a little bit of a rhythm in terms of just I would say some of the movement, because eventually like, well, I just can't talk to this guy. So like I'm just going to focus on me and every decision that I can do and trying to commit to every moment to cover where we have to complete my passes and stuff. But yeah, the communication aspect was one that I had anticipated, but it was just so loud, and especially there's a dome, right? So it's just was so loud.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What
So
was the score?
2-0. But so the worst part was we almost scored it right before half, and the whole entire playoffs we had scored before half or right out of halftime. So I was like, if we had scored, I was like, I think we got it. And Guzan had a ridiculous save on J-Ball and a header. They scored off a flicked set piece, in swinging free kick from deep, flicked it back post. Escobar scored. But yeah, they should have been taken 10 yards back. That's fine. I'll talk to the referee about that at some point in time. So now you're in Minnesota. We're happy to have you. I can say that I didn't know much about you as a player previously. It's tough when you don't play teams in the Eastern Conference. Like I'm sure you're probably thinking the guys in the Western Conference, you probably had no idea who some of these people were, but I can immediately tell you came in. One, you're an absolute dog in the middle, which I love. And that's ingrained in you, and you're extremely clean on the ball and you're a competitor, which has been awesome to see. Preview yourself, maybe if I didn't do it, just what the Minnesota fans should expect for the season and what your expectations are, joining the Loons.
Yeah. I mean, my basics, obviously, like against the ball are pretty, I would say, important to me. But I also think sometimes my obviously on the ball gets overlooked a little bit. So I think, like every game, of course, I like to defend a lot. I like to help the team keep clean sheets and stuff. I like to win the ball, kind of start transitions and stuff. And then with the ball, I'd like to keep the game going a little bit. And then also I think adding, more final product in the final third, just being a little bit better. And I think that's worked on that a lot in the offseason, so hoping I can do that in the stadium in front of the fans. And I mean, I always tell people, like, my one interaction I've had with the fans was when we played you guys in the snow game in 2023.
Oh, I played that game. I played that game.
That was crazy. I remember looking at the lineups and I was like, oh my God, Z played in that game.
Yeah, I did play that game.
That was the one time and it was the best. It was like one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen.
It's cool.
And there was like probably like
sold out.
Of snow.
Yeah, Minnesota fans are crazy, man. The cold doesn't stop them from coming to games. You know what I mean? Some fan bases would be like, nah, they're just like they're used to it. With some of the old school football games, with some of the college football games, just button up, get outside, and that game was nuts. I think it was 1-1, 0-0, 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
1-1.
Yeah, it was kind of the snow.
It was the second half was tough.
Second half. But the orange ball was out. That was pretty
sick. The second half was ugly. I remember because that's where there was like a solid like 2 inches of snow on the field. So it just became like flicking the balls up and stuff. And I was like, this is
the thing was with us is we always said you guys cleaned your half up and then you just left our half.
Of course. I love it. It's play the game. Play the game within the game. And just last question. What have just been your first impressions of the group as a whole, Cam, the trainings we had here in California?
I think it's been good. I mean, you see it obviously. I think the group is good. I think, we're ready to get going. I think Cam's done a really good job. I think it feels like, at least from the group, the feeling is he's been here before, and I think he has. I mean, in 2024, right? He had a couple good games as a head coach, so I think he's ready for it, and he has the whole belief for the team, which is the most important thing. And it's kind of a long season, but the most important thing is being consistent throughout the season and just getting as many points as possible.
Yeah, and you signed a new deal, right?
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Well, Listen, Loons fans, you're going to be seeing a lot of this man on the pitch, terrorizing opponents, hopefully scoring goals. We've worked on that. But I want to say thank you for coming on this week's episode of the Sound of the Loons podcast, brought to you by Line Health. You'll get to know Line Health as well. It's been awesome talking with you, hearing your story. I've enjoyed hearing it. Hopefully the fans do as well. And maybe you'll come back later in the season. We'll see.
We'll see, hopefully.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, dude. Appreciate it.